Hey transformative leaders and trauma survivors, it's sophilialarkwoodbury of thehappymedium.com. As more and more people start to become privy to their struggle with complex PTSD, they're starting to ask, what are the best treatments to help me recover? In this video, I'll be sharing the first-line interventions recommended by the experts. For the best trauma recovery tips, tools, and strategies, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll never miss a video when I upload new content every Wednesday. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, I'm a licensed professional counselor, a trauma recovery coach, and a certified clinical trauma specialist, helping people and organizations resolve the effects of trauma and build resilience. So what are the best practices and the most appropriate treatment interventions for people struggling with complex PTSD? Well, many experts in the trauma field promote a phase-based approach because they believe that this is the preferred method of treatment because it involves a stabilization component. And they believe that a person should ensure that the person is stable first, stabilized. They have the ability to cope with the more intense work that is going to come later when we dive into like the trauma narratives and things like that. And so stabilization is key up front as a buffer against the client dropping out of therapy early. However, there are other experts who believe that a trauma-focused application should be immediate. They suggest that stabilization actually delays treatment and it prevents access to the immediate benefit from those treatments. And so I guess I can see both sides. I would wonder though, if a person is highly abreactive or highly dissociative, how a trauma-focused treatment would work in that case, especially if a person has trouble sort of titrating or being able to deal with the intense amount of emotion that comes with working through that trauma narrative. So that would be my only question, but I mean, I guess I can see both sides. So the guidelines formulated by the International Society for Traumatic Stress Studies suggested a phase-based approach as the best practice for the treatment of people with complex PTSD, along with effective first-line interventions such as psychoeducation about the trauma and emotion-focused strategies. So obviously, psychoeducation is just educating the client about what trauma is, how it impacts them, and the potential paths for recovery. And emotion-focused strategies are more about helping the client to pay attention to how their body is responding to stress, and then giving them, helping them walk through strategies to be able to shift their experience to the stressors to reduce the impact. Emotion-focused strategies are based on the premise that the lack of emotional awareness is what is causing the harm. So being able to shift how you experience those stressors opens the door to focus on to change what is happening by focusing on the facts or gathering the evidence for what is really true. And finally, experts suggest that interventions be tailored even to specific symptoms. So in addition to the phase-based approach as best practice, along with effective first-line interventions such as psychoeducation and emotion-focused strategies, clinicians can best approach treatment with a person who struggles with complex PTSD by specifically tailoring interventions to the symptoms. So say that the person is, obviously struggling with affect dysregulation. Emotion-focused strategies would deal with that. If they're dealing with relationship problems, interpersonal skills training could be a strategy that is applied to that. If they're dealing with intrusive symptoms, a narration of the trauma can address those intrusive symptoms. One of the reasons that we would go back and do memory processing in the first place, and memory processing is not always necessary for a person to resolve the effects of trauma, but one of the reasons we go back is because the symptoms are so intrusive such that a person cannot function. And so going back to find that memory, that disturbing memory, and then working through the narrative on that to resolve that it could be necessary for helping with those intrusive symptoms. And then anxiety reduction techniques to deal with arousal symptoms, hypervigilance, and exaggerated startle response, or somatic symptoms, dealing with pain in the body of some sort. So tailoring interventions to the specific symptoms that people are experiencing is also one of the recommendations from the experts. So now you know the best treatments for complex PTSD as recommended by the experts. And if you're interested in learning more about how to jumpstart your healing journey through complex PTSD, be sure to grab my Body Awareness Mind-Body Guide that is linked in the description below. If you're interested in joining a tight-knit group of healers, survivors, and leaders, I've created a Facebook group where I share the latest advice on how to resolve the effects of trauma and build resilience. You can join that group by clicking the link below. All right, well, that will do it for today. I hope that what I've shared was helpful for you. And if so, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and comment below to let me know anything specific that you learned that was helpful. And if you'd like to start a conversation around that, I'd be glad to oblige. And subscribe to this channel if this video was helpful. Hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you'll always be in the know when I upload new content every single Wednesday. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye.